Have you ever wondered about the impact of yellow fever in the 1800s? Picture this, a time before science had fully grasped the concept of infectious diseases. Suddenly, a mysterious illness causes widespread fear and devastation. This was yellow fever, a disease primarily transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito. It was an era where a tiny creature could bring about such catastrophic consequences. But how did people know they had contracted this deadly disease? What were the signs? Yellow fever presented itself with a medley of symptoms. Fever would spike, headaches would throb, muscles would ache, and an overwhelming sense of nausea, vomiting, and fatigue would set in. But the most distinctive symptom was jaundice, a condition that painted the skin a sickly yellow, giving the disease its name. So, the appearance of these symptoms was a dire signal of the onset of yellow fever. With no known cure, how did people in the 1800s prevent the spread of this deadly disease? Well, they took several measures to keep yellow fever at bay. First off, sanitation was a key tactic. Communities worked together to clean up standing water and garbage. Why? Because these are the perfect breeding grounds for mosquitoes, the carriers of this disease. By eliminating these mosquito nurseries, they reduced the chances of an outbreak. Next up, mosquito control. This involved methods to ward off these pesky insects. The use of mosquito nets and clothing that covered much of the skin were common. This not only protected individuals from mosquito bites, but also helped prevent the disease from spreading. And then there was quarantine. This was a crucial measure in controlling the spread of yellow fever. Infected individuals were isolated from the healthy population to prevent the disease from spreading further. Through these measures, communities tried their best to hold off the advance of yellow fever. With prevention measures in place, how did people treat those who had contracted the disease? During that time, yellow fever was a dreadful specter that loomed over communities. Unfortunately, there was no specific cure for this disease. Instead, treatment was focused on providing what we call supportive care. This included measures to reduce fever, relieve pain, and maintain body fluids and salts to prevent dehydration. Rest was also a crucial part of the treatment plan. The body needed time to heal and fight off the virus, so ensuring the patient got plenty of sleep and relaxation was essential. Another key part of treatment was isolation. This was done to prevent the disease from spreading to others. Patients were often kept in separate rooms or even separate buildings to minimize the risk of transmission. While they may seem rudimentary now, these were the best methods available for treating yellow fever in the 1800s. This era saw an understanding that the disease was caused by a virus transmitted through the bite of an infected mosquito. Prevention focused on sanitation, mosquito control, and quarantine, while treatment was largely supportive, with rest and isolation paramount. Despite the primitive understanding of the disease, these measures laid the groundwork for future breakthroughs.